covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we are focusing on one of the main headlines in the world today, and that's the conflict in Israel, between Israel and Hamas. We have a local lawmaker who has just returned from Israel, and we're so grateful that he has come to the Means Report to talk about his trip and to talk about his experience over there during these scary times. And let's look at the Middle East conflict as a whole. We have our friend Dr. Craig Albert, political scientist from Augusta University, to tell us why this is happening and what the future holds, and historically what has happened over there over the years. And of course, we'll let you know how to stay in touch with the Means Report when we wrap up this broadcast. It's easy, and you can help us get more great guests like District 129 Representative Karlton Howard. He is just back from Israel. And Representative Howard, you know I'm grateful that you're back. I told you that in the lobby when you came in here just now. I was worried about you. But you're hearing this from other members of the community. Tell me how it's been since you returned, trying to just go out and about.
Yeah, we're just going out about it. You can tell that everybody was praying for us and thinking about us, and we are certainly grateful for that. I've been in Walmart and been in restaurants, and strangers are just walking up and saying, it's good to have you back. Which it is. It's good to be back and let everybody know that we're well, everything is well.
Why did you go over there? And just to give people an idea, when you went over there, everything was fine, and then the conflict erupted during the middle of your trip, pretty much. Why did you go?
Well, actually, this was a spiritual trip. We a Christian, a faith trip, a group of faith leaders and their parishioners. We planned this actually pre-pandemic.
Was it like a pilgrimage to the Holy Land?
Absolutely. It was absolutely that, and we were just going to tour some of the sites, and which we did get a chance to see a lot of those. But it was planned like at least a year ahead of time. It was 61 of us on the trip, and Reverend Clarence Moore from the Good Shepherd Baptist Church, he's the one that planned the trip. And we were just one of the ones, my wife and I were just one of the people on the trip with everybody.
So when did things not feel normal? When did you know, there's a war breaking out?
Well, we got there on the 3rd. We left here and got there on the 3rd, landed in Tel Aviv that night, spent the night in Tel Aviv for our first night. We did some tours on that Tuesday, on that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it was on Saturday. While we had just finished baptism. There were about 60 of us, and about 40 of us got baptized in the Jordan River.
Wow.
And when we got out, we can tell there was some anxiety among the tour guides, and we kind of figured something was going on, but they never told us. There were some of us just started Googling and something to figure out what's going on, and that's when we found out that they had declared war on that day.
Could you hear anything? Any explosions?
No, we heard nothing at all. We were up in the northern side of Israel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and those areas. So we heard no explosion. We heard no bullets, no bombs or anything like that. Only the anxiety of knowing something was going on in Israel.
I know you're a baptized Christian, obviously. Did you get rebaptized in the Jordan River? When you said that, I had like 50 different thoughts. It's amazing.
Yeah, I had to do it, yeah. We did. That's one of the highlights of the trip, is just to get rebaptized in the Jordan River where Jesus got baptized.
What did that feel like?
Oh, man, it was just, it was awesome. It was just one of those feelings like a renewal, that you think, that you see that all of this is real. And strange thing about it, there were about 7 pastors, and we were baptizing each other and some of the other people that were with us. And all of a sudden, there were some foreigners that saw us baptized, and they came down and asked we baptized them as well.
Okay,
and that probably was the highlight of the trip.
Well, golly Moses, that's just huge and gives me chills. And it probably helps answer my next question, is that when I was communicating with you, trying to check in with you and trying to see if you would, once you made it home safely, come here to this broadcast, you seemed so calm. You never seemed fearful, were you?
No. The only anxiety that set in was when we first heard about it, about what was happening. But once we talked about it and talked to our travel agent and did all of those things, we were pretty calm, and we just got everybody together, told them, look, there's nothing we can do about this. Let's just enjoy the trip and see how we can get out of here at the right time.
All right, enjoy the trip. So were you able to keep doing your tours?
Absolutely.
My goodness.
Our tour guide, we call him Sammy, he actually took us, he said, listen, there's no need to stay in the hotel like some others were doing.
Right.
He said, let's go out and and he took us further north. We went to the Masada and saw Herod's fortress, went to the national park and saw some wonderful things. So he kept us moving until the last couple of days when we had to cross over to Jordan.
Did the government or anybody else ever give you official instructions and say, okay, yeah, you can go do your tours, but we need you to abide by these guidelines to protect yourself?
No. We never. They may have gone to some of the leadership, but as travelers, we never got no fears about the government said don't do this or don't do that.
Right.
But I think our tour guide, he was well versed on where to go and how to stay out of harm's way, and he kept us safe and kept it interesting.
How difficult was it to get out of the country? Were flights backed up?
Now listen, that was the interesting part, because once we heard that no flights were coming into Tel Aviv or going out, which is where we were supposed to leave from, our tour guide, our travel agent, she had to book 61 flights in 24 hours, and she just grabbed every vacant seat available out of Jordan. I ended up on Air Jordan or something like that. Some of the rest of them went on Turkish Air.
Yeah.
I went through Paris and back to Atlanta. Some of the rest of them went through Turkey and Istanbul. So we split up in about 8 or 9 different groups coming back. So she worked all of that out, but it was difficult because they had to pick us up. They picked us up in Jerusalem and took us to Jordan one night, about a 4.5-hour drive. And we checked in the hotel that were over to Jordan, so she had to book that hotel that was not booked. But the interesting part, even when we got to the border, we were on our tour buses, but we had to get off our tour buses because they couldn't cross over and get on another tour bus for a 10-minute ride. Had to unpack all the luggage.
They would not go across that line.
They could not go across that line. And it put us in that place of immigration.
When did you realize the impact of this incident as far as you are concerned? Because you are a Georgia lawmaker. We thought might be stuck over there. You were definitely just right next to the conflict. When did you realize that this was getting some attention back home?
Well, that's when I started getting the calls from some of the statewide media. I was going like, well, I'm just Augusta citizen, But somebody somewhere, the lawmaker title came in, and I think it started getting some extra attention. I started thinking, well, look like I'm getting singled out here. So that was a thought that I had. But when it really hit us that this was really serious, we were not getting to Jordan. But once we got through, we had to stand outside over in Jordan at immigration for 7 hours.
Oh my goodness, outside.
In the sun. And people were like having problems, fainting, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when we got through immigration, they made the announcement that all borders are closed. So we were like the last ones to get through immigration on that day before they closed all borders.
I mean, you truly barely just made it.
Just got out, just got out.
Would you ever go back?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yes,
Why?
Yes.
Why would you not be scared to go back?
Well, I was kidding with my friend Pastor Moore. Yesterday we were talking, and we didn't get the last leg of our tours in. We got Jesus up to Gethsemane.
Yeah.
But the thought was, well, we got to get him crucified and get him up out of the grave.
Right. You didn't do the crucifixion site or the tomb.
That was the last one. That was going to be that last day. So we got to go back and get that done.
No, there's unfinished business. I hear you.
Unfinished business.
All right. Probably my last question. What is going on with you right now legislatively? Are you all totally just enjoying some downtime right now before the session starts in January?
No, we're quite busy. We're on the phones almost every other day. In fact, I'm headed to Atlanta tomorrow. We're doing public health meetings, education meetings, caucus meetings, and defining some legislative priorities. And I've kind of got some priorities that I want to make sure we address with our caucus and with with the representatives.
What's a main one we could look out for?
I got about, I'm trying to narrow them down. I got about 6 or 7 that I'm so concerned about. And one of them is this expanding child care.
Yeah.
If we can get down to that 0 to 3 child care, making sure that, and that impacts everything. It impacts education, because now we are getting kids ahead of the game before they get in pre-K.
Yep.
It also affects the workforce development. Now parents can go to work. That's one of my priorities, but there are some others. There's crime, homelessness, affordable housing. So I've just got to zero in on what I can focus on and maybe be effective on.
Well, we appreciate your efforts, obviously, during the 40 days that you're in session, but year-round you're working for the people.
Oh, year-round, yeah, it is.
Well, thank goodness you are back, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate sitting next to you and seeing you.
Well, listen, we appreciate your prayers, appreciate your communicating, and one of the things I think that you did do, you helped us calm some people down.
Yeah.
You know, by having that conversation while I was there, and everybody was worried, and they said, you know, once they saw we were safe, they kind of calmed them down a little bit.
No, it's true. Just to hear your voice on that FaceTime phone call, I guess it was.
Right.
You looked so peaceful, and that was helpful to us. So thank you for that. And welcome home.
Thanks, Brad.
Absolutely. Representative Karlton Howard back from the Middle East, thank goodness. Why did this whole thing start, and what can we expect going forward? Political scientist Dr. Craig Albert to explain it next.